What does Islam think about extraterrestrials? Does that religion see such entities as friends or foes? And what could be Islam's response to any first contact? Time to look to the skies here on Things Visible and Invisible. Dr. Jörg Matthias Determann is Professor of History at Virginia Commonwealth University, Qatar. He is the author or editor of a whole host of books, including Islam, Science Fiction and Extraterrestrial Life, and Islamic Theology and Extraterrestrial Life, New Frontiers in Science and Religion. And he joins me down the line from his home in Doha. Matthias, welcome to Things Visible and Invisible.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a great honor to be here.
Matthias, much has been speculated recently about Christianity and the possibility of extraterrestrial life, but very little is said about Islam and extraterrestrial life. Let's begin at the beginning. In the Quran, is there any references to extraterrestrial life?
Thank you so much. That's a great question. The Quran definitely says that we are not alone in the universe, in that we are not the only intelligent creatures in the worlds that God has created. And I'm using the word worlds here as a plural because the Quran always speaks about worlds in the plural, never about world in the singular. So God is referred to as Rabb al-Alameen, or the Lord of the worlds in the plural. And the Quran says that there are many beings across these different worlds, across the heavens as well as the earths. The Quran has the old idea of there being 7 heavens and 7 earths, and that creatures would be scattered through them.
So the idea of various cosmologies and different worlds and are there in the text. It's not outside of Islamic thought. However, what is, would you say, Islam's view of kind of contact with these other worlds or interacting with these other worlds? Do they see them as friends or potential foes?
Thank you. One of the most prominent form of extraterrestrial intelligence mentioned in the Quran are the Jinn, also known as the genies. These are creatures that are described as being of a different nature to humans. They are said to be made of fire. They are very, very powerful. They are presumed to have sort of magical powers. And here I would like to think of a common saying in science fiction that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. So some Muslim scholars believe that the jinn, their magical powers, could very well just be the very advanced technologies of extraterrestrials. There isn't a huge amount of clarity what kind of creatures the jinn actually are. They are said to be made of fire. They seem to be coming in and out of our world, which means they could be extraterrestrial, so outside of Terra, outside of Earth. They could also be extra-dimensional, so coming in and out of our world. So they are said that they have the power to make themselves visible as well as invisible, that they sort of can appear as sudden lights, as flames, as fire, but also disappear. There are lots of mysteries surrounding the jinn, just like there are lots of mysteries about UFOs, unidentified flying objects, UAP, unidentified aerospace phenomena, and so on.
Well, we'll get to all of that, I'm sure, Matthias, in our conversation. But in terms of the jinn, are they essentially a sort of spirit being? Are they akin to what Christians would term an angel, made up of spirit rather than matter?
That's a great question as well. The angels are a different kind of creature altogether, and they exist in both Christianity as well as Islam. The angels are understood to be a higher being with certain amount of intelligence as well, with a certain amount of freedom as well. So they are commonly understood to be, just like in Christianity, to be God's servants, to be God's messengers as well. So angels can be sent down to earth to provide a message to humans. So for instance, God is said to have sent down the angel Gabriel, in Arabic Jibreel, to the Prophet Muhammad, for instance, to convey verses from the Quran to him. I mentioned that the angels are also often understood to have an amount of intelligence and free will. For instance, in the case of the figure of Satan, who is understood to be a fallen angel, so an angel who went against God. In the Islamic tradition, God is said to have told the angels to prostrate themselves, to bow in front of Adam. So acknowledge the specialness of Adam as the first man, and the devil, Satan, Shaitan, Iblis, as he's called in Arabic, is said to have gone against God by not acknowledging the specialty of the creation of Adam. But the jinn are different from angels. The angels in the Islamic tradition are understood to be creatures made of light. They're often shown in Islamic iconography as just lights, whereas in Christianity we would have these angelic beings as typically human-like figures with angels. In Islamic depictions, they're more often, especially in modern and contemporary times, just shown as lights. The jinn are sort of a related creature, but yet different. So instead of light, they're made of fire. But they are maybe more akin to fairies in the European tradition, or demons in the European tradition. And just like fairies in the European tradition, they can have good intentions as well as bad intentions. They can be harmful as well as beneficial to humans. Maybe the main difference to fairies and demons is that the theological standing of the jinn is much firmer in Islam. So the Quran has a whole chapter named after the jinn. Plus, the Quran is understood as literally the word of God by Muslims. So if the Quran, as the literal word of God, has a chapter called the jinn, that means Muslims would have to believe in the existence of these jinn. Whereas demons and fairies in the European tradition, they don't quite have that status. They don't have a similar prominence in the Bible. And of course, the Bible is not not understood as being the word of God in quite the same way. A lot of biblical scholars, theologians of Christianity would essentially understand the Bible as a book that consists of many different kinds of books, but written at different periods by sort of humans, whereas the Quran is very widely understood to be unwritten by humans and just created by God.
In terms of the way you're describing it, Matthias, I mean, the idea that there are extraterrestrial beings, i.e. beings other than human beings, is not so unusual either in Christianity or Judaism or Islam. You know, the idea of angels, the idea of demons, or even in the case of Islam, these jinns. In terms of classical Islamic theology, has there been much speculation, though, about life on other planets, or the idea of these other worlds, these other cosmoses interacting with the world we have today?
Thank you. So in Islamic cosmology, there is the idea that there are different worlds and different heavens, that God himself resides in one of those heavens, so the highest of those 7 heavens. It's also described as God's throne. Now, if I say that in English, God's throne, then maybe we have that anthropomorphic, that human-like image of God literally sitting on a chair. In Islam, we don't quite have that understanding. But there is much less of a pictorial understanding of God, right? So if you go to a mosque, you will not see images of God. It's certainly not images of God in human form. So we don't have sort of depictions of these different spheres, these different worlds as planets in classical Islamic cosmology, right? In many ways, the idea of planets as places like Earth is sort of a very modern understanding, a modern understanding that came after the scientific revolution, that came after the establishment of the Copernican worldview, so the worldview according to which the Earth is not the center of the cosmos, but rather the Earth is rotating around the sun. In traditional Islamic cosmology, we would have a geocentric understanding. So there's the understanding that the Earth would be at the center, and then the different spheres would be, the different heavens would be moving around the Earth. And the different planets, which in classical understanding would be understood to be wandering stars, so moving stars, they would not have been understood as the kind of planet that we imagine when we think of Mars today, sort of thinking about, obviously, the kind of pictures that Martian rovers have sent down to Earth. So Islam is less pictorial, right? So you find very, very few copies of the Quran with pictures. The Quran itself is pure text. If you go to a mosque as well, you would find decorations there, especially geometric patterns, floral ornamentation. But other than that, you would mainly find writing, Arabic calligraphy. So Islam is a very text-centered religion rather than an image-centered religion. But that actually also leaves a lot of room for ambiguity. That leaves a lot of room for speculation. And that can ultimately be an asset for the Islamic religion and the Muslim community, in that Muslim can look at the same text and interpret and reinterpret the same words over the decades and centuries and millennia as they've done. and sort of they can continue to imagine what these kinds of heavens, in Arabic samawat, would be.
Now, we're becoming more familiar with the Islamic golden age of science in our Middle Ages, and it was an age of great advances in scientific knowledge, but it was also an age of philosophical inquiry, using often the apparatus given to us by the classical Greeks, etc. Was there any sort of speculation at that time around this idea of other beings, or the potential or possibility of other beings, and Islam's approach to that?
There's a long literature about sort of other beings. There's a huge literature about the jinn, sort of philosophical speculations, theological accounts, as well as folk stories, right? So the jinn, the genies, they're best known to a lot of Western audiences and global audiences through the 1001 Nights or Arabian Nights. So there is a sort of a really long literature where a lot of people have wondered what these magical, powerful, strange, intelligent, cunning at times beings might be. But there's also a long tradition of writing about other kinds of wonderful creatures. In Islam, there is the general understanding that God is all-powerful, that God can create whatever he wants to create. And every sort of strange creation is itself an evidence for the power of God. So we have a lot of books about strange creatures that exist in different places around the world. And maybe I should just mention here that the Muslim world, even the medieval and early modern Islamic world, is an incredibly diverse place, diverse in terms of cultures, but also biodiverse, right? So we think about the different seas of the Mediterranean, the Red Sea, the Gulf, the Indian Ocean that are part of the Muslim world and have been so for centuries. We think about hot deserts. We think about snow-capped mountains in Central Asia or in Turkey. We think about Indonesia as the most populous Muslim majority country, Indonesia with its rainforest. So there's an incredible diversity. So Muslims have long encountered all kinds of different creatures living from the tropical region to the more temperate regions. And of course, they've also inherited the different kinds of stories and legends from the cultures that came before Islam. So, for instance, the Hellenistic Middle East, the stories of India, which of course was also very quickly reached by Islamic civilization, or the stories and legends of China, again, with the borders of China being reached by Muslim armies very, very quickly. And so, for instance, we have an old legend that a figure called Dhul Qarnayn, the one with the two horns, may have built a dam or a wall at the end of the world in order to keep strange creatures out of civilization. These are the creatures known in English as Gog and Magog, or in Arabic, Juj and Majuj. This figure, Dhul Qarnayn, the one with the two horns, is commonly identified as Alexander the Great, who, in the understanding of people back then, went sort of to the edges of civilization, went into Central Asia, went as far as he could from his native Macedonia. So there are these sort of legends about various different strange creatures outside this world or just at the end of the world. And in Islamic eschatology, so the Islamic teachings about the end of the world, some of these creatures are said to come back. So Juj and Majuj, or Gog and Magog, who are behind the dam and behind the wall that was built at the edge of the world by Alexander the Great, they are said to come back before the end of time, before the day of judgment. So Islam is very, very comfortable with aliens, with strange non-human, half-human life forms that have played a role in human history and will play a role in the rest of human history.
Matthias, unfortunately, we have to come back down to earth now for this episode. So tell people where they can find out more about you and where they can purchase copies of your books.
Thank you so much. So you can find me on various social media platforms. You can find me on LinkedIn, X, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram. My books are published by IB Tauris, which is an imprint from Bloomsbury in London. Bloomsbury is perhaps best known to many people as the publisher of Harry Potter, which is, of course, a book series that you can buy just about anywhere. So yeah, you can go to the Bloomsbury website. You can go to various retailers, Amazon, Waterstones, Barnes and Nobles, brick and mortar bookstores.
Matthias, for now, thank you so much for coming on Things Visible and Invisible.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Things Visible and Invisible. We're dedicated to uncovering phenomena that challenge our understanding of reality, from ancient enigmas and paranormal encounters to scientific anomalies and forgotten histories. If you enjoyed this journey into the mysterious and unexplained, please consider subscribing to our channel and hitting the notification bell to stay updated on future explorations. Have a personal experience or story that aligns with our investigations? We'd love to hear from you. Visit our website at tvi.show and reach out through our contact form. While we can't feature every submission, we review them all, and your story might be featured in an upcoming episode. To support our continued investigations, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter or channel member. Your contributions make these explorations possible and give you access to exclusive content, early releases, and monthly behind-the-scenes discussions with our team. Don't forget to check out our merch store. We've got everything from TVI-branded t-shirts and hoodies to stickers and coffee mugs, perfect for showing your support while keeping the mysteries close. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time as we continue to explore the things visible and invisible.